Welcome to Paranormal or Reality. On today's video, we explore haunted homes, where shadow walking by could be someone not living. Then we are off to investigate lucid dreams and what their meanings are. Now make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. Let's begin. This whole story takes place in my friend's family house, where they lived for years. Hopefully you will read it and can give me some more insight. The first part of my story is an explanation for something weird that happened on one of his infamous birthday parties. He lived in a very small village in the Netherlands, so basically every teenager from that place, and some people from a nearby town, like me, attended. I had to pee, so I went to his bathroom, which is located in the hallway. Now this hallway is separated from the living room through a door. Only the bathroom and the stairs to the second floor are there, making you kind of distanced from the party. After finishing my business, I could not for the life of me get the door to open. I could turn the lock every way, but the handle in the door would not budge or give at all. I felt very anxious and started to panic. This lasted for about 10 minutes total, I think. One of his relatives had to use the bathroom. The door from the bathroom flew open, almost hitting them. A huge relief came over me. I was basically exhausted and definitely sobered up. Both my friend and his relatives did not recall having any problems with this door. I've known this guy for years and am still good friends with him. I trust him completely and visited the place often in those years. Whenever I was with him in the living room or the garden, nothing happened. I never quite trusted going to his bathroom again though, despite them kind of laughing it away. Almost 3 years later on a warm spring day, me, two other close friends went to visit him again. I told them I had to do homework but agreed to come along and make it there. It involved something I needed good headphones for. He assured me he had one. It turned out to be a total piece of junk, only holding itself together from being tangled for so long. I could not focus at all downstairs. I decided to go upstairs to continue with my homework, not thinking anything about it. The room straight ahead up the stairs was his mom's sewing room. Very basic. A large table on the north side so you would sit with your back to the door. Now the whole left side of this room was filled with a lot of clothes and probably a lot of other stuff behind the transparent slider doors. It was all storage behind them. You could kind of guess what the first clothing item was behind the door, but not make out any details. Trying to focus on my homework, I gradually felt it getting really cold in the room. I started clicking with my teeth. I cranked up the heating, which was conveniently located under the table I sat at. It temporarily helped to battle this drop in temperature and regain my concentration. The longer and deeper I focused on the room, the more anxious I started to feel. There was a big sensation that something was looking at me from behind the doors to my left. A dress hanging at waist level really stood out to me, but I did not dare to look at that direction for too long. I just really wanted to focus. Then I saw her. From the very edge of my left eye, I felt an eye staring straight at me. That's how close she was from me. She definitely did not want me there. I closed my laptop and immediately ran scared out of my mind back downstairs. I slammed open the door with my eyes wide open and went straight to my friends. They all looked at me like I was crazy. But to this day, I can still feel that edge burn and really see that moment our eyes met. She definitely did not want me in there. Especially while typing this and reliving it in detail, the edge of my eye practically burns. My heart is pounding like crazy. The middle part directly below my chest starts to hurt from the anxiety and the heavy beating of my heart. I've talked to my friend several times about this. He still laughs it off. As for me, I'm glad we are all in our 30s now, and I never have to go there ever again now that we're all adults. I'm a 37-year-old man who is interested in the supernatural, but have only ever had one small incident potentially involving it, and this is it. So, to set the scene. It was 2004. I was 17 years old at my friend's house who had recently gone through some tragic events. I won't go into it too much detail, as I don't want to disrespect them. But there was tragic loss of life for one of his younger family members, an older one, in a very short space of time. Fast forward a few months later, and I am at my friend's house. It was a dark winter's evening. His mom and dad went out somewhere in their car, leaving us with the house to ourselves. My friend and I were in a room upstairs, probably playing football manager. I started being a bit silly, as I was under the impression we were alone in the house. I guess I just had a sudden burst of energy. His parents were nice people, but also very strict. I'd let my guard down as I knew they were out. So I was doing something silly, like jumping up and down on the bed, whilst it was my friend's turn on the game. I can't remember exactly, but it was something across these lines. The door to the room we were in was open, and the lights were off on the upstairs landing. We had a lamp on in the room we were in but was the only light in the area. All of a sudden, I saw a tall, skinny figure go across the landing from one room to another. The figure very much represented his mom's build, so I froze and felt embarrassed that she had witnessed me being silly jumping on the bed in the spare room we were in. I assumed they must have come home without us noticing. Not unheard of in their house, as it was brand new and not very creaky or anything. A few moments passed, and I asked my friend if his parents were back. He replied confidently, "No, I don't think so. We checked out of the window and the car was still gone." My body went cold, hair stood up. I was so sure that I had seen somebody. I told my friend, and he seemed spooked too, but I was worried I would disrespect the recent tragic events, so didn't go too much into it with him. I have honestly never felt so spooked about anything in my life. My friend asked me about this again the next week or so, as he claimed he too saw something. But as the tragic events were still so raw, we just didn't go much further into it at all. I went to his house a few other times, but never experienced anything else. I had a crazy possession dream. I was hanging out with these supposed people in my dream. We were all puzzling how we got there. I had to get up early that morning, so when this happens, I consciously go to bed in my dreams. I literally incept into a deeper dream. Well, when I do this, there are often strangers in the bed with me. Maybe to make me less scared by not being alone. This one girl was in the bed with me this night when I incepted, and she was one of the people puzzling over how we got there. I told them we were dreaming. It somewhat put them at ease. I let her know how we both got there, and that our dream selves were laying in a bed together. She began panicking after I told her that. I don't remember what she said. At that moment, I looked through the doorway, and I saw myself in another room laying with this demonic girl, crouched on her hands and knees, staring through the doorway at me with pitch black eyes. For some reason, it didn't register until I woke up what I saw. Suddenly, she tried to get flirty about us lying in bed together. I asked something like what her deal was. Her eyes started changing. She started making these weird, flappy motions with her arms as she got down on her knees, to try to lean in towards me with this weird, inhuman smile. She seemed like she was getting possessed in that moment. Then she screamed and ran out the room. The others were gone now. Suddenly, I noticed I'm in my mom's room. This often happens as a subconscious barrier when I'm in my dream with an entity, because their room used to make me feel safe, especially when I'm with them. This was until I learned to become aware in my dreams that I was just sleeping and not actually alone. Now it's just creepy to be in a copy of my mom's room with a proxy version of her or my dad, knowing it's not real. Anyway, after she ran out of what was now my mom's room, I went to wake up my mom, who was the only one in there with me, to tell her to grab the gun. I'm thinking maybe the symbolic proxy mom can help stop it, since it's my dream after all. The screaming stopped. I look out the doorway and notice our kitchen light from down the hallway is flickering slowly on and off, because I see the light shining down the hallway. I turn on the bedroom light, but it just let out a vague, creepy glow before it faded back to darkness. My proxy mom tried to suggest something, but I didn't listen. I knew I had to confront this thing and make it leave my dream as I have before. Trying to be brave, I leaned into the hallway, out my mom's doorway. The hallway is now black with all lights off. Copying one of the lines from The Walking Dead, I knock on the wall of the hallway and call out in a cracked voice, "Knock, knock!" I expected it to poke its head around the corner to play peek-a-boo or something, but I got no response. As terrified as I was, I walked a few steps into the hallway, then knocked again with more force. This time my voice was a little more forceful as I yelled, "Knock, knock!" No response. I began walking down the hallway when my alarm woke me up. I'm kind of glad it did. I knew it was a dream, but I guarantee if I walked into that kitchen, I was going to have to face something very creepy. Real or not, I really hope that girl was not real. I don't think she was. My friend and I saw this abandoned house pop up a few weeks ago. After countless times asking him to go, he finally agreed. After coming back from 7-Eleven, we were talking about what to say to the cops if they found us. We agreed on saying that my friend got mad and threw a tennis ball and went to go retrieve it. As we arrived at the house, we got over a fence and started looking in the backyard for an entrance. All the windows were boarded up, so we went to the shed in the backyard. There was a bunch of creepy things in there, not normal things you would find in a shed like tools. We found a bunch of Halloween decorations and a Ouija board. We said, "Oh hell no," then closed the door behind us. A couple of seconds later, the door flew open. There wasn't even a slight breeze out. There was this statue of a person that made me dizzy just standing near it. I passed out, and when I woke back up, he was looking for an entrance into the building still. We found a tennis ball with the number 7 on it. We heard police sirens and decided to leave. As we ran back our bikes, we locked them at the 7-Eleven. We searched up what the number 7 meant spiritually. It said a spirit is inviting you to play for risk or reward. We went back a few days later and found another tennis ball with the letter M on it. I was thinking of going inside the house as I tore off one of the boarded-up windows. I looked into the basement and didn't see anything but tile floors. I was too scared to go further inside. Thanks for tuning in. Watch another video if you dare.